In the webinar you are about to watch, we talk about this time of year, the month of December. Now, we're not talking specifically about the holidays, but we're talking about a lot of the challenges and the pushes and pulls that come with this time of year. Whether we want to admit it or not, there's a lot going on in December, and video can actually be a really, really great solution for a lot of those challenges that you're coming across. Enjoy. Hello, it is Kevin here, and welcome to the December Deep Dive. For those of you that are here for the first time, my name is Kevin Andrews. I'm the Senior Manager of Customer Engagement. For those of you that have been here before, welcome back. So excited that you're here. Now, I've got to start this webinar a little different than I usually do. Why? Because I got a question for you. Have you ever made a mistake at work? Well, guess what? I have, and I have to own up to it. We hosted an amazing December deep dive with hundreds of people showing up, and guess what? I forgot to hit record. So what are we going to do? We're going to rehost this bad boy for you, and we're going to walk you through exactly the same content and the same topics that we covered in the webinar as we hosted it live. So if you're watching this recording and you were at the live one and you're going, wait a second, Kevin looks a little different. Yeah, I'm wearing different clothes. I'm in a different location, but that's okay because the content is still going to be exactly the same. So what are we talking about this month? Well, we are talking about how do we overcome year-end challenges? How do we use video to help us get through some of those challenges that we're all experiencing right now in December? I think this is such a pertinent topic because it's very topical. It's very now. But we're also taking a little bit of a different angle. If you've ever attended a holiday webinar for us before in December, we do cover the holidays a lot. And how are you communicating with your database, your client base on the holidays specifically? This year we're taking a different angle because guess what? Not every message that has to go out in December is around holidays. So that's exactly what we're going to cover. So how are we going to do that? Let's go over our agenda. First and foremost, I do have some exciting changes that I want to announce to all of you about how we're going to be hosting these deep dive webinars and how we're addressing some of this in the new year. So we're going to go over that quickly so you all kind of know what to expect come the new year because we know a lot of you like to come back and come here every month. Number two, what makes the end of the year challenging? Let's talk about that. Let's talk about some of these challenges so that we're all on the same playing field and we're understanding, yeah, we're not the only one that goes through this. We are all working through these things. And then most importantly, how can video be a solution for that? We're going to really give you some direct strategies that you can start to use literally today so that you can start to overcome some of these challenges that you might be experiencing in December and kind of working through those and how video can potentially help you. So first and foremost, what are some updates coming up this year? Well, first off, we are going to actually start segmenting our webinars out so that they can be a little bit more focused for all of you. We know that your time is valuable and we want to be conscious of that. So what does that look like? Well, we're going to be separating to do different webinars. One is kind of an end users, a member webinar, which applies to most of you, those of you that are in the program recording and sending videos on a regular basis. And then we're also going to be doing some team admin webinars. Those are going to be a lot more around managing your team, helping encourage usage, helping make sure that your team is getting the most bang for your buck with using video and with using BombBomb. So what does our cadence look like? Well, the end users, we're going to be doing once a month, just like we always do, but we are going to make them a little bit shorter for you. We know asking for an hour from those of you that are salespeople, which is a lot of you, is a lot to ask. We want you to keep that momentum going on your Wednesday, and we don't want to hold you back from that. So we're going to cut down to 30 minutes for our topics and our content, and then we're going to leave a little bit of extra time for Q&A to make sure we always answer the questions that you might have coming. For the team admin ones, we're going to do those once a quarter. They're going to be an hour long, just like usual, and they'll be the second month of every quarter is going to kind of the plan that we're going on that. Why are we doing this? Well, it allows us to refocus the content for you. It allows us to be really specific and give you tactical things that you can walk away from every webinar and not feel overwhelmed, but feel like, yeah, I totally get that. I know exactly what to expect in this. And that's our hope, is that we can give you that information and help you through that process with really specific, actionable tasks that you can leave with. And it also allows us that we can focus more on strategies and some of the pain points that you might be experiencing. So we try to balance the technical and the strategic, and of course, there's going to be technical components with BombBomb with all of these things, but we really want to frame each webinar around your pain points, the things you need to solve in business right now as a salesperson, regardless of what industry you're in, and then show you how video can be a component of that. Now, one other update that I think is really fun on this that I think a lot of you will like is we're also going to be adding in, have you ever heard of an office hours type format? Well, guess what? we want to do that for you as well. We're going to do what we're going to call AKA, Ask Kevin Anything. And this is going to be time where you can come in and ask all of your questions. If we need to dive into technical help, if we need to dive into something that you need help with, you don't understand this, you need some of these tips, guess what? We're here for it. I'm going to have a customer care rep because they are the best. We have the best reps in the entire world. They're going to join me, and we're going to make sure that we are here to answer your questions. And we're going to try and do that a couple of times in the next year so that you feel like you have resources and you have access to somebody who can help you be as successful with video as possible. So again, we're segmenting so that you know exactly what to expect when you show up to anything here at BombBomb. And we're going to make sure that you know all the resources you have access to. In fact, I'm going to go over some of those at the end of this webinar as well, so that you know exactly what you have access to now. But more importantly, we want you to know what to expect when you access an individual resource, or why should I go here instead of here? We want to start giving you much better explanations and direction on all of those things. So with that being said, let's dive in here to what are some of the end of the year challenges. I know if you're anything like me, I was literally sitting just contemplating, man, this is a crazy busy month. We have a lot going on personally. I've got to keep up with business and maintain those things, but there's a lot of pieces. And what are those? Well, as I was researching this more and more, I saw this quote and I thought it was a really, really interesting way and a new perspective that we honestly should probably be bringing into this year. It's from Hal Borland, and he says, "Year's end is neither an end nor a beginning, but a going on." And I liked that because I think there are some people, some of you are probably going to connect with the aspect that having a year end is really good. I like that pressure. I like going, man, I've got a final date. I've got to finalize. I've got to hit these quotas, these goals, whatever that may be. And the new year might be the same for you. This is a new launching, a rebirth, if you will, of I get to set and reestablish all of that. For some of those, myself included, this feels like a lot of pressure. And that pressure, there's those things that pressure builds diamonds. Absolutely. It can also drown things. It can also collapse things. And for some of us, that pressure is not welcome and it's not helpful this time of year. So I wanted to kind of refocus and reframe this for us so that we can keep this perspective, because I think it's really, really impactful to understand December is just another month. Yeah, there's a lot going on. It's a different month than those, but it's no different than March or September or May or whatever that month may be. We just need to keep things going, and we have to work through some of these challenges that may be coming up so that we can kind of navigate those. And that's exactly what we're going to cover today. But keep this perspective in mind, because I think it's a new way for me to think about it that honestly takes some of the pressure off and allows me to just keep doing what I'm best at, which is keeping my business growing. With that being said, let's jump in and let's start to define what some of these challenges are. As I was doing a lot of research, I kind of tried to narrow down and give us some specific ones that we can focus on in this webinar. First off is declining engagement. How many of you sit and look at your email inbox and just go, oh my gosh, there is a lot going on? I think about it, this really starts for me in Thanksgiving. You look at Thanksgiving, not Black Friday, Cyber Monday, and then we get into all the holiday sending, and there's a lot of information going out. Now, the declining engagement is interesting because it's not that people don't want to engage or aren't interested. I think what I've learned in researching this is really a ramping up of the noise. We've talked for a long time here at BombBomb about this idea of digital pollution, that there's a lot of just junk that goes around. We all know that. We all get the junk emails and delete all of those. But it really ramps up this time of year. And I think, for a lot of us, that noise isn't always welcome. We're not always getting content and messages that we want to receive. And what does that do? It causes us to decrease that engagement. It causes us to stop interacting with the things because it makes it so much harder to understand, what do I want? What do I not want? Some of us just go, you know what? I don't have time for this. I'm out. And we leave and we walk away. So this is a real struggle, that there is so much more marketing. There is so much more content, emails, messages that are going out. We are getting overwhelmed by all of this, whether it's digital or whether it's physically in a brick and mortar store, and just the amount of stuff that's coming at us. It really causes all of us to go, oh my gosh, I need to take a break. I'm just not going to engage because I'm getting overwhelmed by it. Challenge number 2, end of the year quotas and goals. Guess what? These are still here. This is very, very real for all of us. Now, depending on what industry you're in, is going to depend on how important the end of the year specifically is. But all of us need to keep business going, keep that momentum moving forward. Those of you that are in more of a B2B type sales platform, you've got direct quotas and goals that will end at the end of the year. Those of you that are maybe in real estate or mortgage, you don't necessarily have that. I've got to get these by the end of the year, but a lot of us set goals that are going to be timed around that. So really the point of this, the challenge of this is that these numbers aren't stopping. The goals are not stopping. The quotas, the expectations around us maintaining our business are not stopping this time of year, even though so much more is ramping up around us. Now, client follow-ups, I think this really feeds into the first one there, the declining engagement. We, again, need to maintain our momentum, keep things moving forward. But guess what? If people aren't engaging as much, how do we stay following up with our clients? If they're focused more on the personal stuff, the other things that are going on and aren't checking their emails as much, how do we make sure that we're staying top of mind and staying in front of the people that we need to? Client engagement gets more challenging this time of year because of number one and number two. I think they feed into why this is so challenging because there's so many more things that we have to overcome in this month with all of the messages, with the digital pollution, with the personal polls, the things that we have to go to there that make it more difficult for us to be able to follow up with those clients in the way that we need to. Now, we've already talked about maintaining momentum. How do we do that? Again, the challenge is when we all look at our email inboxes, how do we decipher what do we want to open and what we don't? What do we care about? What don't we care about? When there's so much more going on, it's even more difficult to be able to decipher that, which makes it harder for us to keep things moving forward in our pipeline because we are reliant on email, whether we like it or not. We do have to use email in order to keep that engagement going. And I've been on both sides of this where I'm the one pushing that. And I've also been on the consumer side, the recipient side, going, oh my gosh, another email I got to deal with. It feels overwhelming. That can be really challenging this time of year. Business and personal workload, I think, is something that all of us feel. And it's really hard to put kind of a definition to what's overwhelming. But I think all of us understand that there's a lot. There's a lot going on this month. I know for me, I was just looking with my three kids. I've got three kids. I've got twin 4-year-olds in preschool. I've got a 9-year-old who's in fourth grade. Guess what? I have 6 days left of work before all of a sudden they're off school. How do I maintain all of that when I've got about 2/3 of the normal time that I usually have? Now, that doesn't mean work stops when they come home. I have to keep that going, but it's more challenging because now I have these little minions running around and being on top of me and needing things while I am trying to work as well. And throw on top of that, holidays. Maybe you've got to go out and buy presents. Maybe you're navigating holiday parties. Maybe you're throwing holiday parties and you're having to plan all of those events and do all of that sort of information. All of this is added on to our normal workload. So just the sheer capacity of it all, we run out. We get tired. Our bottle, our cup gets filled very, very quickly. And it's really hard to maintain and keep that going when we're feeling overwhelmed and out of breath. And we've got so many more things on our list than we usually do. Huge challenge when it comes to December this time of year. Now, I think this is a really interesting point that is probably true every year to some degree. When the clock ticks to the new year, what's that going to do from an economy standpoint, from a market standpoint? I would argue that this year is even more true with that than most years. Why? Because there's a lot of questions going on out there. Whether we like it or not, those of us that are in the United States, we had an election. Our country made a decision, and a new president is going to be sworn in the new year. Now, again, it doesn't matter what side you're on, that will affect the market. It is going to affect the economy, and you can think better or worse. Really, whatever side you decide on doesn't necessarily matter because it's what is the market going to react to that? How is that going to play in? For those of you that are in the home industry, what are rates going to do? We've seen a little bit of rate drop. How's that going to affect us? Is that going to ramp up business? I mean, there's so many things going on that there's a lot of uncertainty. I know for the general layman like myself, I don't know what's going to happen. I can make guesses. I can make hypotheses. You might even be in the industry and not totally know what's going to happen. Regardless, there is a lot of uncertainty this time of year. And how do we affect that? How does that affect our mental stability, our brains? How do we carry that and also help those people that need to be taken care of by us with the information that we have. There's a lot of that uncertainty, and it just adds to the challenges themselves. Now, number seven, I think we've covered a decent amount. This idea of standing out. It's really hard to stand out when there's that much more content and that much more messaging. Now, we're going to give you a strategy that's going to help with this specifically, but I think we've covered that and talked about why it's so difficult to stand out this time of year, because there is so much more going on to take that away. So I tried to build some themes specifically for this that I thought were really kind of summarizing what we saw before. One, engagement. There's a lot of more content going out. Small business owners are sending holiday messages. Big companies are sending out deals and promos and buy our product, get it for Christmas gifts. Your people want it. And people are busy with their own lives. So engagement is more difficult because there's more volume and less time from consumers and from recipients, right? Number two is maintaining momentum. Business doesn't stop. Just because everybody's overwhelmed and not engaging as much doesn't mean we can stop. We've got to hit our goals. We've got to hit our quotas. We've got to deal with all of the struggles that may make it challenging to maintain the momentum that's going on. So ultimately, when I was trying to summarize this in my head, this is kind of the statement that I came up with. And I'd love to hear if you reflect to that. Throw that in the comments as well. You know, everyone is getting pulled in a million directions, which distracts us from closing business deals. And yet, the expectations don't go anywhere. What do we do? It makes you want to kind of throw your hands up in the air and just go, I don't know. I don't know how to work through this. But what do we do? Well, that's where we jump in, and that's where video can be an incredibly powerful piece of this discussion. I think there are ways, and we're going to show you 4 specific strategies here of ways video can help you with some of these challenges that we've just mapped out. So first and foremost, what are we going to talk about? Well, I kind of teased this a second ago. We are going to hit on the first idea of standing out. Now, I put an example email up here. This is an example from my email inbox. I've wiped the company. I've erased those things. So we're not here to talk bad about anybody because nobody's really doing anything wrong this time of year. It's just a lot. But this is, I thought, a perfect example of the types of emails that I'm receiving this type of year, right? It's the most wonderful price. Look at all this holiday branding. Look at this. Save $150 for a limited time. You've got to jump on it now. This is really grabbing so many different senses and so many different pieces of urgency that honestly, it builds a lot of anxiety for me. I won't speak for everybody, but for me, I feel anxious when I get enough of these messages because, yeah, maybe this is something that one of my friends or family wants for a present. Maybe this is something I've wanted. I love that idea of a discount, but can I fit that in right now? Is that too much? It just starts to bring up all of these questions in our brain. Now, the other thing I want to show about these is I don't classify this as spam. Why? Because I like this company. I have some of their products. I have signed up to receive these emails. So they're not doing anything wrong in these messages. But what's hard is I can look at this email and go, how many millions of people received this email? It's very generic. It's very mass send. I know they sent it out to a ton of people. And what's the natural inclination when you start to see these? Delete, 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 delete. I'm overwhelmed. I don't want to deal with this. I don't know how to handle this. Delete, 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 delete. And that's what we do. So how do we counteract that challenge with the messages that we are trying to send to our database? And here's the argument that I'm going to make for you. One, video is going to help. But I think the most important piece that helps us stand out and differentiate from those other emails is that top bullet point right there, personal. You have to personalize. Now, we don't want to create another challenge with workload and keeping up with things when we've got so much pulling on our plate as well by trying to stand out. So how do we counteract this? Well, here's something that I want to challenge. I know when I was in real estate, or in any sales, really, you are told so many times this time of month, you've got to touch base. Holidays are the best time. Make sure everybody in your database is getting a gift from you. You're doing pop buys. You're stopping by. You're touching base with everyone. And that felt really overwhelming. So what did I do? Mass email, check the box, send it out so that I could move on because I didn't know what else to do. So here's what I'm going to challenge you to do is I want you to take your list and we are going to hyper segment down. We are going to pick, and I'm going to say the word top, but there's a lot of different ways we can do this. We are going to narrow down our whole database, our sphere of influence, our list of potential buyers or prospects to a much more focused list that is way more manageable. And then what are we going to do with them? We're going to send them personal messages. And I'm going to show you a great example of how Laura here was sending fun personal messages to people. But here's the difference. I don't want you to think I've got to cover all 500 people or 100 people even on my database. I want you to start to narrow down to maybe 20, 30 people at most. That feels manageable. That feels like I can take the time to do that. Now, however you define that, totally up to you. Maybe you do it by the people that spent the most with you in the past year. Maybe you do it with the people that have the potential to spend the most. Maybe you do it with people that most recently purchased, the people who you've known the longest, right? Deepening that relationship. You can define how you narrow down to what the top people are for you. But I want you to do that. I want you to segment that list to the top, really 5%. So we're talking 20 people is a great number to look at. And then it gives you the opportunity to send fun personal messages, just like this message that Laura sent to one of her clients.
Hey, good morning, Tina. Laura here with my fun little thing on from Christmas. And I'm going to sing you a Christmas song. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas. We wish you a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year.
We all know that song, so I'll skip ahead to the next.
Not bad. Hope that you have an wonderful, I was going to say awesome, but I use that word too much. A wonderful, stupendous, outstanding Christmas holiday with family, friends, whoever, dogs, and that your coming 2018 is filled with abundance, great health, prosperity in all things.
So you can see there, I mean, it's a very simple message, but it's fun. I didn't know Laura played the ukulele. I've gotten to talk with Laura a handful of times here at BombBomb, and she's delightful. That is exactly the person you get. But when somebody receives that, what do you think the responses they're going to send back to you are? Oh my gosh, I love that. Oh my gosh, your bow's so cute. I didn't know you played the ukulele. I didn't know you could sing. These are the types of responses we're getting from people because it's a personal message to them. They're connecting with it. They're being reminded of the relationship that you and them have together, and you're deepening that. And I will put my life on the fact that these kind of messages and that kind of connection will turn to business at some point. Why? Because they're going to remember you. They're going to remember how you invested in them and leaned into them. Now, I would argue this is a perfect opportunity with these messages to not ask for anything, per my third bullet point right there. Don't ask for anything. This is a time for us to lean into them, show gratitude, show empathy, all the things that video provides without really needing something back. When we were hosting the live webinar, somebody wrote in, it's like putting a business card in a holiday card. Yeah, nobody wants to open a holiday card and think they're getting something fun for the season and then see, oh, I'm Joe Schmo auto salesperson, right? Like that's not the tone we're trying to set in that message. But this ability to differentiate by leaning in, not asking for anything, and sending a personal piece of content, I guarantee will be a differentiator. So to summarize here, narrow down, take your big list from 100, 200, 500, whatever that is, narrow down to the top chosen people, however that metric is that you want to decide that, and send personal messages. I guarantee that will help you stand out from all of the other digital pollution that's going around to the people themselves.
Hey, good morning, Tina.
All right, let's jump over to the next challenge, workload. How do we keep up with all of the things that we're expected to do right now? Business, personal. How do I do that? Well, there's a really amazing strategy, an amazing feature that we have here at BombBomb. That's our screen and cam recorder. This gives you the ability to actually show something that's on your screen as well as have your face on there. So they're still seeing you and still getting all of those wonderful benefits of video, right? That we don't get from just black and white text. Now, you might be sitting there going, yeah, but how does this help with workload? One of the most beneficial pieces of this feature that I have seen over my years here at BombBomb is the ability to provide more clarity that now releases all of the back and forth messaging we have to do. That maybe that got a light bulb going for you. Yeah, how much do you have to go back and forth with a client answering questions that you thought you answered in the first email but were not clear to them? Well, the ability to show somebody gives them the ability to get a deeper understanding and need to email back and forth a heck of a lot less. That's really, really powerful. Imagine if you do that with 5 clients, 10 clients, and now we eliminate 3 or 4 back and forth emails from each one of those clients, that's 30, 40 emails we just eliminated of you needing to do. Now you can go spend time with your family and your loved ones and not be stressed about hovering over your inbox to make sure all of the questions are answered. So this gives you the ability to walk somebody through something, provide a deeper customer experience, a deeper level of clarity so that they won't have to be going back and forth. There's another piece that I'll show you after I play this video that I think is really impactful for this as well. But just imagine how many emails this could save by you being preemptive on assuming and knowing the questions they're going to ask and being able to answer those in this fashion.
Hey Lulu, Tom Griffith, here you go. I wanted to show you something for your borrower here so that you can communicate with them. First of all, this is a hold home. So, and I know that's kind of how this started, where I'm Holt's preferred lender. Now you guys are back to a hold home. So big difference in this one is there's a $10,000 incentive, at least according to the listing that you sent me on Redfin. So I've listed that here, seller prepaid or the promo. Couple of things for you to know. Here's total cash required, and sorry for the scrolling, and it'll make you sick here, but I got to get down there.
So you get the point. He's got the document pulled up and he's answering questions. I can just envision. I've met Tom a couple times, just as nice as what you see on video there. This is so him in this video. And what I love about it is, how many times do you think he has sent this document before and gotten a bunch of questions back, whether it be from the agent or whether it be from the client, or they didn't understand, oh, did you miss this? Where is this represented? So on and so forth. He is now being so preemptive with that and answering all of those questions up front. This is going to save him a ton of time. Why? Because he's making it so much clearer and giving so much better understanding to the people that need to hear it. Now, I imagine being the agent that received this, right? Not only did it answer my questions, this now gives me an actual piece of video that I can forward to my clients to answer all of their questions. Do you remember playing that game? I know I did it in like middle school, high school, called Telephone, where somebody would whisper something into somebody's ear and then they would whisper and they would whisper and it would come all the way around the circle. And then at the end, it'd be like, oh, this is what you said. And you're like, ah, no, it's not, right? It's lost in translation. How often does that happen? Where you said something clearly, this person took it, put their spin on it, and now it's misconstrued or conveyed in a different way. That can't happen when you give them the initial source. And that's exactly what these videos do, is it gives the agent, the other people, the opportunity to share this video and provide that clarity. Now, not only are you being helpful to the agent or your business partner that you're working with, you're also being introduced and being helpful to the client. It's eliminating so many questions, all of the back and forth for everybody, and it's providing this clarity. I promise you, this will help with your workload. The amount of times I show people this, they use it, I hear back at all that, this is exactly what I use BombBomb for. I love this piece. It has brought me so much just ease in the way that I'm able to explain things, because I'm able to now help people with the ways that they want to learn, right? Think about learning styles. We all have different learning styles. Some of us are audible. We like to hear. Some of us are visual. We like to see. Some of us are kinesthetic, where we like to actually do. This really speaks to so many of those in a way that is digestible and is going to save you a ton of work. I think we'd all would enjoy that, especially this time of year in December, right? Slow down our workload a little bit. All right, the third challenge here that I want to talk about is maintaining pipeline. We talked about how following up with clients is really difficult, can be really hard to do. So we have to start to think about, why is that hard? Well, we kind of named that in the challenges themselves. But once we define that, it's hard to get through the noise. It's hard to maintain, being in front of people. We start to think, what is the solution? What makes me want to open an email? I have one word: value. Value for me, the recipient. Now, we here at BombBomb, we've talked about human-centered communication. We actually wrote a book on it, boop, right there, about how do we consider the recipient and think about the recipient just as much as our own needs when sending a message. This is a perfect example in really asking that same question. What do my clients need to know right now? What's valuable for them to hear right now, rather than just, I got to maintain my pipeline, I need to send something. That's the wrong question. We need to start asking about what value they want and how we can help them out. And then we provide it. So this is one amazing example of that. This is Jimmy Burgess, and he actually found it in the real estate world, something that was really, really valuable for him. And it's what he calls an unsolicited CMA. Now, for those of you that are not in the home buying industry, a CMA is a competitive market analysis. So basically, it's saying like you have a home. I'm going to look at your home and I'm going to say, here's what it looks like on the market if you wanted to sell it. Here's what your home is worth right now from the best data that we can pull. You can do that in any industry, right? We can always look at here's what you're using. Here's what that could be worth or how it could be beneficial. Here's what car you have. Well, guess what? Used cars are really high right now. Here's how we could sell that if you wanted to get in a new car. Whatever it may be, we can use this kind of idea. But he uses our screen recorder and he gives them something that is valuable for them in a way that they can digest it. So here's an example of what he did. And I want you to start thinking about and getting your wheels turning in your industry. How could you do something along these lines?
Hey, Carrie, it's Jimmy Burgess with Berkshire Hathaway Home Services down at the beach. Just want to check in with you guys. I hope you had a great summer. Been about 6 months since I let you know kind of an update on where we are and where your condo's value is. So just want to give you a quick, brief update on kind of where we are with everything, what's happening right now, and get you a little better deal. I know you know now we know. So what I did is I pulled up all the sales for the last couple of years to get us a
So you can see he started with something that's visually going to be stimulating. It's something, oh, that's my condo. What is he showing me? Oh, he's used Google Earth to pull something up. And now he's jumping into the data. He's showing them condos that are comparable to theirs. Let's pull those comps. Let's see what they sold for. Let's see what you got in your house. Now, the beautiful thing of this is it's asynchronous. That's why this is so valuable this time of year. It's because you can record and send whenever you want to. They don't have to engage with it right now. They can see that email and go, oh my gosh, Jimmy sent me something, yeah, about our house. I'd love to take a look at that. Either they watch it now and think of it later, or they act on it now. That's up to them, but you're giving them the choice. You're not forcing conversation. You're not forcing meetings. You're not asking them to do something in this busy time of year that they don't have the capacity to do. What's really cool about this, and I'll let Jimmy talk to it, the success of something like this, when you think about the recipient, plan the value accordingly, here's what he saw. Here's kind of the fruit that bared out of this strategy for him.
I decided in the fourth quarter, I was going to do as many unsolicited CMAs, basically with past sellers or past clients of mine, people that I knew that owned properties, or whatever the case may be, someone that just simply owned property that may have a curiosity about their value. Maybe they came in an open house. I ended up in that fourth quarter doing 72 unsolicited CMAs. I sent those out to the owners, and in the first part of the year, the next year, I ended up directly from those 72 CMAs listing a little over $11 million, ended up having $9 million worth of accounted sales from listings from that drive that I did in the fourth quarter of 2017. When I broke it down, it basically came out to, I believe it was a little over $3,500 per unsolicited CMA that I did. So I'd highly encourage anybody that's got,
I mean, $3,500 per video, per email that he sent, absolutely worth it, right? Now, of course, we can't guarantee results, but what I want you to hone in on, what I want you to remember about this is it's the value. He thought about something valuable that his clients need, and he gave it to them in a way that they could engage, understand, and be interested in. And then because of the asynchronous aspect of BombBomb and of sending videos, they could engage with that when they needed and respond when they needed. Maybe they just need to get through December, but in January, February, when they start to go, man, I remember Jimmy said our home is worth this. I probably need to call and talk to him about that. They're going to remember that and they're going to associate it with him because he was on the video itself. Now, for those of you that are newer to BombBomb or haven't used BombBomb before, you might not know about the screen and camera record. And I showed you 2 examples of that in these last 2 examples. What I want you to know about this is you can actually access this from basically anywhere that the BombBomb video recorder is accessible. The mobile app here, you've got the record screen button. You can actually record and then go to different apps and record everything that's going on your screen and send that to somebody through BombBomb. If you use just our standard video recorder, we've got a record screen button right here. So you can launch the record screen and then you can go full screen you and then down. You can adjust it as you're going with the video. You can choose one window or pull different windows. There's a lot of settings you can choose from. But then it's also here on our extensions as well. So if you're somebody that likes to use our Chrome extension or our Edge extension, I'll even show you, I've got mine right here because I use Microsoft Chrome or Google Chrome, excuse me. If I click on that, it automatically pops this up and I can select record my screen or record myself, and I can do that from any website. So the Chrome extension is a really amazing tool as well. So I just wanted you to know that you can access that from anywhere, and that gives you the ability to show the screen like both of those examples had. as well as always have your face on that because we know how important that is. All right, last but certainly not least is client follow-ups. We talked about how this is a challenge and how this can be difficult to make sure that we're maintaining follow-ups, but this is a really cool opportunity that I actually want to show you maybe a new strategy, something you haven't heard of before. It's called an evergreen video. Now, what is an evergreen video? Well, essentially it's a video that we record that can be used for multiple different people, not just one. So here's the difference. If I'm reaching out to a new lead, instead of saying, hey, Pamela, it is Kevin here with BombBomb. I wanted to touch base about X, Y, and Z. I change it so where the beginning is, hey, it is Kevin here with BombBomb. I wanted to reach out to you about X, Y, and Z and talk through blah, blah, blah. And I go on with my video. The difference is I didn't say somebody's name at the beginning. So now I have an opportunity to use this video and use it time and time again. One of the amazing strategies of how you can use an evergreen video for follow-ups is use the systems you already have in place. If you've got automations, if you've got a CRM, if you've got lots of different things like that that automatically send messages based on behavior of what's coming in, get a video in there. Record an evergreen video introducing yourself and following up with that person. The beauty of this is it allows your face to get in front of people. You don't have to lift a finger. We record the video once and it's built into the system and the follow-ups. Here's a great example of one of those, of just an initial, hey, wanted to introduce myself. So we keep business going. We're building those relationships because of the video, because they get to see us, but we don't have to jump at that exact moment. And we know how important speed to lead is on new leads coming in, on following up. So here's an example of that.
Hi, it's Taylor from St. James Volkswagen. I just wanted to reach out with a quick video to introduce myself and put a face to the name so you know who you're talking to here. I'm happy to be a part of this vehicle search with you and helping to find you the perfect car. If you have any questions, please let me know. I'm here to help, but in the meantime, take care and I hope to hear from you soon. Bye.
Nothing mind-blowing. But I think what's interesting, again, I try to put myself in the consumer perspective a lot. If I'm thinking about buying a car and I'm thinking about what is a car salesperson like, Taylor is not necessarily what comes to mind first, right? These are my unconscious bias, good or bad. I've made assumptions of who I'm going to deal with if I go to buy a car. Taylor's not what I expect. And so this is a great advantage for her to go, hey, I'm a real person. I just want to help you get the right car so that you can put a big bow on it and park it outside your house on Christmas morning and walk your spouse out. And does anybody actually do that? I see that in commercials all the time. I don't know that I will ever have it done. But anyways, you get the point, right? It's the ability to follow up. Another example of something that you could use an evergreen style video for is think about your most asked questions. The question you get asked over and over and over, like an FAQ, frequently asked questions, and start making a list. The beauty of BombBomb is that you can store all of your videos in BombBomb. We have a video workspace where you have unlimited video storage. Well, let's start building a folder for FAQs. Now, when somebody sends a question that I know I've got a video for, I can grab that video and send it to them. It took me less than a minute rather than having to type an email or record a new video and explain that whole thing to this new person. It's another way to follow up with people using an evergreen style video that continues to build that relationship and trust using all the benefits of what video provides, but also saving us time, saving us from that workload perspective throughout December. So all four of these were some different strategies. So here's some takeaways I want you to carry away from this webinar as you start looking at the back half of December and what you can use. Number one, release the everyone mentality and focus on the top. Release this expectation you have to reach out to everybody and narrow down to a much more hyper-specific segmented group of people and follow up with personal messages with those people. Number two, personal instead of generic. The reason we get so annoyed with all of the noise and all of this stuff is because we know it's not meant directly for me. We don't feel seen. We don't feel like they care about us. We feel like they just need to make a buck. How do we counteract that? By sending personal content, leaning into people, and don't ask for things. Just allow this to be a time of year to say, hey, I'm thinking about you. I care about you. I hope you have a great time with your experiences. If you need anything, I'm always here, but I'm thinking about you. Number three here, screen record. Use the BombBomb screen and camera record for a deeper experience because that's going to create that better understanding. And the better understanding, the less communication that has to go back and forth. So if we're using elements from each of these, it's a great way to not only deepen your relationship, continue the momentum of your business going on, but also relieving your workload because we've got some of this stuff kind of prepped and ready to go. Now, I want to finish you with one last quote, and then I'll splash up some of our resources so that you know you always have the help you need and where to find it. I found this quote from Oprah. of course, cheers to a new year and another chance for us to get it right. I've got a bottle of water. I'll cheers to that. I think it's just a really fun opportunity for us to go, you know what? No matter how this year went, next year's always going to start and it's going to keep going. And it's another chance for me to continue to push forward and do what I think is best for my business, for me, for my family, whatever that decision may be. You get another chance. And that's the beautiful thing about life is that we keep moving forward. So resources. Last thing I want to hit on are some of the resources for you. So let me walk through these real quickly. One is BombBomb Studios. BombBomb Studios is actually on-demand courses. Now, the beauty of this is there's courses for all sorts of different things. Maybe you just want to learn about a specific feature, the screen recorder, since we've talked about that so much. We have a course specifically on the screen and cam recorder where you can hop in and learn, why is this powerful? How do I use it? What are some tips and tricks? And what are some good opportunities? Boom, you're out in less than 15 minutes. You've learned it, and now you've got some great strategies to use. Maybe you're more of a strategy person and you want to learn how to get more email opens, how to get more video plays. Maybe you just need to learn how to get started. Maybe you're brand new. You can hop in and take these courses directly on that. You'll create a login. It's different than your BombBomb login, just so it can track and maintain your progress through it so that you don't lose that if you don't get to finish everything at once. But great. Training.bombbomb.com is how you can access BombBomb Studios. Second one here, BombBomb Knowledge Base. This is our support site. If you need technical help, if you need to go see an article on how to do something, this is the place to go, support.bombbomb.com. We've got, I think, close to 300 articles up there with videos, with screenshots, with all sorts of walkthroughs of steps of how you can kind of fix or figure out your own things that you need to, rather than wait for us. So if you don't have that time and you need to figure it out now, that is a great one. Bookmark these things, save these on your computer so you can access them later. Last but not least, we've got an amazing support team. I would argue we have the best support team because they're kind, they're caring. If you've ever got an email from one of them and you see a name, that's a real person. They really are following up with you. Support@bombbomb.com is an email you can send something to submit a ticket if you need help with something. Let us know what you need. We are always here for you. We always want to see your success and see you grow in the ways that you want to, and see video be a cornerstone of that, because we here at BombBomb know the power of what it can be. The last thing I want to show you here, I'm going to hop over to our website, bombbomb.com. If you are new, if you have never joined BombBomb, you don't have a current membership with us, hop over to bombbomb.com and click this Get a Demo button. We've got a demo where you can sign up if you need to ask somebody questions. You can schedule a time to talk with them and figure out, how could this be a solution for me? We've also got an amazing try it free. We have a 14-day free trial that you can sign up for. No credit card, nothing. You're not committing to anything other than sign up and commit to using video. Commit to exploring and playing with it and having some fun. We here at BombBomb care so much about you. So I personally, Kevin, want to say thank you. Thanks for letting me be a part of this journey. Thank you for giving me an hour of your time today and letting me explore that. And hopefully you're walking away with one or two things that you feel like, yeah, that could make an impact. And heck, if you don't get to it in December, all of these strategies are really effective forever, any month. They're just really effective right now because they're some of the challenges that we're facing. Thank you, thank you, thank you for being here. We love having you as part of the BombBomb family. Thank you for your advice, your support. Thank you for just showing up to this and letting me be a part of your experience and your journey. If you need anything, reach out to us. Otherwise, have a happy holidays. Enjoy December. Don't let it blow by. I know it goes by fast, and I can't wait to see you in 2025. What? Bye, everybody. Have a great day.